There was no announcement, no single moment of outrage, no decision that shocked the world. It happened quietly. A child packed a small bundle, a coat maybe too thin, name written on a scrap of paper, and then the door closed. In Victorian England, this was not abandonment. It was not cruelty. It was not even unusual. It was normal. Children were sent away every day, to other households, to relatives, to institutions, to people they barely knew or did not know at all. Parents did not whisper about it. Neighbors did not question it. Communities accepted it without protest. This episode is not about the places children were sent to. You've already seen some of those. This episode is about something quieter and far more unsettling. It is about the idea that letting your child go was considered responsible, necessary, even loving. To understand this, we need to step into a world that no longer exists. Victorian England was crowded, loud, and unequal. Cities grew faster than housing. Work was unstable. Disease was common. Death was familiar. For many families, survival was fragile. Children were not seen as emotionally dependent beings in the modern sense. They were part of the household economy. An extra mouth to feed. It's an extra pair of hands, eventually. And when feeding that mouth became impossible, sending the child away was not seen as failure. It was seen as management. Separation was woven into daily life. Servants lived away from their families. Apprentices left home young. Nurses cared for infants who were not their own. Children slept in shared rooms, attics, or separate buildings. Emotional closeness was not the foundation of family life. The function was. One phrase appears again and again in letters, records, diaries. Better elsewhere. Parents told themselves this. Officials repeated it. Society agreed. A child sent away might eat more regularly, might learn discipline, might avoid disease, might survive. Even very young children were believed to adapt easily. There was a widespread assumption that children were resilient in ways adults were not, that they forgot quickly. That attachment was shallow. That separation caused no lasting harm. We know today how wrong this was, but at the time it felt logical. If a household was overcrowded, if a mother was ill, if a father worked long hours, if rent was overdue, then sending a child away was framed as a practical solution, not heartless. Responsible for infants, separation often began almost immediately. Many babies were sent to wet nurses, women paid to breastfeed children who were not their own. This was common across social classes. Wealthier families used wet nurses so mothers could recover or resume social duties. Poorer families used them because mothers had to return to work. Babies might live miles away from their parents, sometimes for months, sometimes longer. Some parents visited, many did not. The arrangement was normalized. The child would return later, or so everyone assumed. No one asked what happened in between. As children grew older, being sent away often became permanent. A child might be placed with relatives in the countryside, sent to work in another household, enrolled in a charity school or institution. The idea of growing up away from one's parents was not tragic. It was ordinary. Letters from the period show parents writing with detachment. He is settled now. She is learning obedience. They say the air will do her good. Love existed, but it was restrained, controlled, filtered through duty. Affection was often expressed through distance, not closeness. Institutions were presented as solutions, not last resorts. Workhouses, orphan homes, industrial schools, they promised order, structure, and morality. Parents were told their children would be taught discipline, religion, and useful skills. The emotional cost was rarely discussed. Once a child entered an institution, contact with family often faded. It's not because parents didn't care, but because society did not expect them to remain involved. One of the most striking things about this period is how little is said about missing children. Records list names, ages, placements, but rarely emotions. Children disappear from family histories without explanation. No dramatic moment, no recorded grief, just absence. And that absence was accepted. It is tempting to judge the past harshly, but love did exist. It just looked different. Victorian parents believed that preparing a child for hardship was more important than protecting them from pain. That discipline built character. That closeness bred weakness. That emotional distance encouraged independence. Sending a child away was sometimes framed as an act of strength, sacrifice. Very few records preserve the child's voice. When they do, the words are restrained. Simple, unemotional. I was sent to live with others. I did not see my mother again. I learned not to ask questions. These are not stories of rebellion. They are stories of adaptation. Children learned quickly that survival meant acceptance. When everyone around you does the same thing, it stops feeling extreme. If neighbors send children away, if churches recommend it, if officials encourage it, then the practice becomes invisible. This is how normalization works, not through cruelty, but through repetition. Something was lost quietly in this system. Not just lives, but relationships, attachments that were never formed, comfort that was never given. Childhoods lived at a distance. No one recorded these losses because no one thought to look for them. Today, we frame separation as trauma. In the Victorian era, it was framed as responsibility. This difference is not about intelligence, it is about values. What a society protects reveals what it fears. Victorian England feared disorder, dependency, and moral decay. Childhood was expected to endure. When sending children away was accepted, when separation felt ordinary, when absence raised no alarm, what happened to the children who did not return? The ones whose names faded from records? The ones who moved between households? The ones who became statistics instead of stories? That question leads us forward. Because acceptance did not guarantee safety, and normality did not mean survival. If separation was normal, and institutions were trusted, and distance was encouraged, then what became of the children who slipped through the cracks? The ones who were sent away and never truly came back. That is where this story continues. Thanks for watching.